Alright. Alright, we're starting our journey. Many years ago, a young warrior who was of the line of the great Erdrick came to Alfgard and defeated the dreaded Dragon Lord, restoring peace to the land. For many generations, the descendants of that warrior ruled Alfgard and the surrounding lands, including the kingdom of Moonbrook across the eastern sea from Alfgard. Oh, shit. What in the world is happening? Cried the king. Majesty, said the king's guard. The castle is besieged by the forces of Hargan, the wizard. Oh shoot, I forgot to update my information. Knew I was forgetting to do something. Let's see, what year did this come out? In America? Let's see. It doesn't tell us. Okay, 1990. Okay. Let's see. Hargan is here? Asked the king. Alas, sire, it is so. Then we must ride forth and do battle, for these castle walls shall not stand. Maybe I shouldn't have selected fast. Hargan shall not rule unopposed. And get him, king. Then the king spoke to the princess. Thy life is in danger, my daughter. Hide thyself now, and whatever happens to me, thou must be strong. But father, cried the princess. Hurry, commanded the king. I must go to warn my cousin, the king of Middenhall. Father, screamed the princess, they are here. Oh, such a brave beauty, the monster mocked her. The king was enraged. Touch her, and thou shalt not arrive this... What? Touch her, and thou shalt not survive this day, he challenged the fiend. So, hissed the monster, thou must be the lord of this miserable sand castle. But I think not for long. Oh no. And the princess gasped in horror. No, father, no! Ew. That's a lot of monsters. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Japanese version of the game does not have this opening cutscene. Which is a shame, because this is actually pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's... Well, I got a second here, get a couple more things set and going. See, I don't know why YouTube never updates when I click the little doodads to make it update. Thy wounds look serious. What has happened to thee? Never mind me, I must see the king. I have evil tidings that cannot wait. Let's edit this real quick. Still have a little bit of setting up to do. My mother-in-law was just on the loose. Yuck. Okay. Okay, seek out some worthy companions along thy road in Kinnick. There are those who are also of Erdrick's line. Surely help thee beat Hargan's dark plot. So let's see what Pops gave us. Alright, now unlike Dragon Warrior 1, you actually have to equip items. So now I should have the sword. Does this not tell me? Yeah, there we go. So now I have the copper sword and leather armor. When I first started playing this, testing out the new battery and the saving that I put in it, I forgot that I have to go in and equip the sword. So I was like getting my butt handed to me by slimes, and it's like, see? This guy tells you. This is a battle-hardened warrior. Nice. Turn over left to win. Okay, so I'm not exactly prepared. This is kind of an impromptu thing I got going. I didn't bring all the maps and guides that came packaged with this. Gotta turn. So I was also playing a little bit of Dragon Quest XI today on the Switch, which I was not very far into. But in the 2D mode, there are segments of the game where you can go into past Dragon Quest titles, and the first one has you going to Garenham, where the guy has the, you have to get the harp out of the dungeon, and, all the names were different, so they didn't call it Garenham, it was called something else. And I think it was different than the translation that was in the Game Boy Color version of the game. So now there's 3 different versions of the names. Now, I mean, it was, having just beat Dragon Warrior, it was easy to tell where I was and what was going on. But I don't need anything yet. Woof woof. Alright, let's gain a level or 3. Now this game starts the black backgrounds. I always like the way the game looked in Dragon Warrior 1, where you've got the colorful backgrounds, and it looks like, you know, Saiyan Saga, Dragon Ball, you know, fields and plateaus in the background. I always kind of like that. But you get more sophisticated enemy sprites a little later in the game. I mean, these are just slimes. But you get a little more sophisticated coloring and design on the enemies with the black backgrounds. And I think it stays this way for Dragon Warrior 2, 3, and 4. See if we can't find a slug. Let's see if a slug will be the next guy to pop out. Nope. Well, something I do when I play RPGs, especially older ones, is I keep a notebook, or in this case, since I'm sitting next to my laptop, a notepad file open, and I write down everything important. Because the next time I play, I'm gonna forget and go west the left wing. More than likely, anyway. And a lot of people talk about how hard these older games are, but I think it's because they don't take notes. Now I know that Dragon Warrior 2 has a reputation for being a bit difficult, especially in the end game. Now, I've only played the remake on Game Boy Color, but I played it blind by taking notes, and I got all the way to the end game, where it does become a little cryptic. And then I grabbed a Nintendo Power that had coverage of the original Dragon Warrior 2, and I used that to get through the final dungeon. But I do know that the game is allegedly a little bit broken, and you have to, like, grind a bit more. A lot of people say it's very cryptic. Basically, you get to a point to the game where you get a boat, and it's like, go find these 5 or 6 tchotchkes, or however many. And people are like, that's the only clue it gives you. Well, you know, you sail around, you go to towns, and you talk to people, and you take notes. She ain't gonna remember all that shit. At least I sure don't. Alright, so we gained 1 level. Same as the last game, if you talk to the king, he'll tell you how many levels you need. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Let's see. Dr. Arkaville. There's a lot of things called the Terror Drome and Terror Dome. And true, this isn't the original Terror Dome. That was the last place I lived, in the dank pit of despair. I don't really have a name for my new zone. And this is actually just the living room, so this isn't even my new zone. Of course, the real terrors live here. My mother-in-law was just out here a minute ago. I'm surprised she didn't come out and, like, stare at me like she does. That's always frightening. Wasn't Cobra Commander a used car salesman? If I know my G.I. Joe lore as well as I believe I do. I always thought it was pretty cool that he was a used car salesman. I never actually read the G.I. Joe comic books, but I did like the cartoon. I used to have my mom, like when I was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, like however old I was, the G.I. Joe cartoon came on at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. And I'd have my mom wake me up. So I have lots of memories of getting up at 6 a.m. Much like now, like today I got up at 6 a.m. and watching G.I. Joe and eating Pop-Tarts. I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and I follow a couple of these, like, accounts where they, like, run toy stores, like, crap that people exactly my age would have nostalgia for stores. And, what were the twins? They were Cobra dudes, but they were the twins. I forget their names. Maybe they were just called the twins. I don't know. But I remember when I was a kid, they had a mail away to get the twin action figures. So I saw this Instagram post of someone going to like a toy fair in the area, and they had the twins. And I remember when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, I wanted those figures so bad, and I filled out the form and I sent away for them. And like I got a letter back saying, "Oops, we don't have enough for you." And like, it's like, "Here's your money back, kid." I was very disappointed. And then I had one of the other mail-away figures. It was General Flag, maybe? I don't remember. Shoot, I forgot to buy... I was going to buy herbs before I left. I was busy thinking about G.I. Joe. That's one of the NES games I want the most, that I've only ever seen it. Like, the only time I've seen it out and about was at a video game convention up in Cleveland. And they wanted like $50 for it, and like, I'm cheap and only buy cheap games, man. I do yard sales and stuff, and once you like get used to, oh, you know, I buy Nintendo games by the box load for like $10. It's like, I ain't paying $50 for a game. But G.I. Joe, I remember playing that a lot when I was a kid. And you get like to the late in the game, I forget all the characters' names. But it was like the highest ranked dude in the G.I. Joe organization that was not Duke. General Hawk, maybe? He has like a backpack, and like there's a level where you fly around with General Hawk's backpack. That's pretty cool. I remember playing... It's my neighbor's copy of the game that I was playing all the time. I do have an EverDrive, but I still like to have the real deal. I never played G.I. Joe 2. Is it like the Atlantis Factor? I think that's the subtitle. Like when I first started getting into buying old games, or like reading about them 20 years ago, like when I was high school age. Started looking at it, I was like, oh shit, there's a sequel to G.I. Joe? I've never even seen that one. Alright. A couple other herbs. What kind of new features is the N8 Pro have, like different features? I forget which one. Mine's a couple years old, and I got the one in the Famicom shell because I have was it the Sharp Twin Famicom, and I have cartridge adapters, so this way I can use it on a Famicom or an American Nintendo. And I've played the G.I. Joe game probably within the past like 2 or 3 weeks on the EverDrive. But, you know, that's just one of those games to have nostalgia for, so, like, I always keep my eye out for it. Never found it out and about. See, a couple weeks ago, me and the wife were playing a translation of, what is it? Yume Penguin Monogatari, the Famicom game where you're the fat penguin and you gotta get in shape so you can win the girl. We had watched an episode of Game Center CX together, and it was that game, and then it's like, oh, let me go grab the Nintendo and the EverDrive. And, you know, I've got like one of those nice and organized for you complete sets for the EverDrive. So I went to the translation section. I was like, oh, there it is. Yume Penguin Monogatari. And the game was very easy. You know, I know the Cacho hams it up sometimes on Game Center CX, and, you know, doesn't play as good as I bet he could play. I just have a sneaking suspicion. But that game was easy. Like, I sat down and beat it in 45 minutes. First time I ever played it. Maybe a little less. It's like I think I stopped it and then turned it back on and came back to it in that 45 minutes. It's like, oh, huh. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. But it was a little on the easy side. Would be my only criticism of it. But I'm surprised they got a full episode of Game Center out of it. And that's one of those things, like I don't keep up with all the releases of the EverDrives. The next one I want to get is for the oh no, I was thinking of, what's the thing Terra Onion makes for the PC Engine? I was thinking of PC Engine EverDrive, but no, I think I want the Terra Onion doodad. Let's see. I've got the memory card file that lets you play burnt PS2 games. I've not really followed piracy methods on the PlayStation 2 beyond that. Like, I've got a mod chip to PS1, and that memory card that lets you play burnt games on PS2, which is pretty cool. The guy that sent me the memory card with the file on it sent me a burnt copy of Dragon Quest V fan translation for PS2. I've got a fat PS2 with the hard drive on it that it can run games off of, but that's like the old way to do it, and you can't play PS1 games. I should probably look and see what this guy's got for sale. We'll take a wyvern wing. I probably did that project like 10 years ago, so whatever, might have just been free McBoot, but with the hard drive and all this, got like a 40 gigabyte hard drive in it, and you need to use Disc 2 of Resident Evil 2 to launch the exploit. I've got like the little commands, because the commands you have to go through, like, I forget that shit. I don't really need to stay here. So I'm sure that there's like more modern methods, like, isn't there some way to run the games over an Ethernet cable on the PS2? Yeah, come here. I hate this about the older Dragon Warrior games. The NPCs just like wander around, so I have to like sit here for 100 hours before this guy comes over. Psst, I'll tell thee a secret. Yeah, I need that thief's key. See, that'd be cool. I'd like to be able to run it off PS1 games off a hard drive. Ooh. See, I don't... Like, how the hell do I open doors in this game? I don't have a door command. I bought another doodad from Terra Onion. I bought the multiple optical drive emulator. I got two of those, one for the Saturn and one for the Dreamcast. But they ship them out in batches. So, like, I've bought it. Oh, shit. Yeah, I have two chats open, so now we got Bradley on YouTube. Sorry, I just now noticed you. Yeah, I figured why not, man. Like, I'm really excited to play Dragon Warrior 2, not 2, 3 and 4. Those are the ones I'm most excited for. I'm actually most excited about Dragon Warrior 4. But, I don't know, man. My autism's like, hey, you gotta do this shit in order. Then I also kind of want the clout of beating what most people generally say is the hardest Dragon Warrior. So I was like, yeah, we better play 2 next. So I've heard of a cave to the far east in which the spring of bravery rises. So let's make a note of that. When you say AVS, are you talking about a Neo Geo AVS? And where'd they steal it from, dude? Canic Castle. Oh, AVS NES. Tell me what it does. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm old and shitty now. Let's see, where am I at? Castle Canic. Like, I forget all the names of the castles. Okay. Is that the NES that has the better video output? The one that you don't need to mod for the component out? Yeah, see, I've got kids now, so I haven't really followed video games as hard as I used to. And for the most part, people that listen to the podcast I used to do occasionally tweet at me or post on my old... There's like 2 guys that post on my forum. And one of them, my podcast's #1 fan, he keeps me up to date on everything. Like, if he knows it's something I'd be interested in, he's like, hey, Jerry, have you seen this? It's like, why no? No, I have not, but thank you for telling me. I'll blow some cash on that. And especially over the past, well, since February, I've started a new job where they work me like a dog. Like, me and one of the other employees there, we're doing the scam where you trade shifts with each other. So I'll work her second shift 8 hours, then I'll work my third shift 8 hours. But I'll be doing that on Saturday and Sunday, and then work a normal shift on Monday, and then I'll have 4 days off. And then she takes 2 of my days, so she'll work her regular shift into my regular shift 2 days, and she'll have 4 days off. And the past month or so, I've been getting hit with 2 doubles anyway. So I might as well have 2 doubles when I decide, and then just have 4 days off. Because the last day I was in at work, I was expecting to be held for 12, and then halfway through my 4 extra hours, they're like, guess what? You're actually here for 8. And I was like, oh, that's super. Thank you, Sergeant. I appreciate this. Now, I don't think that it was that particular sergeant's doing. It just seems they all have Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm aware it's a bot, but whatever, man. Let's see, welcome, Gerpo. Of experience points, Gerpo needs 47 to reach the next level. My son, Orfeo, has already left on his journey. Please find him and take him as thy companion. Dost thou wish to save? Well, yes, I do. Alright. With my son's help, thou shalt go far. Now, I believe someone in the castle here has tips for me. No, I'm a 911 dispatcher, so, my direct boss is a sergeant. They're, deputies with the sheriff's department. It's a paramilitary organization. So, just my direct guy is the sergeant, and then each shift, well, watch, like I was saying, first shift, second shift. I work first watch, which is third shift in the real world. It gets more confusing than that. And I never actually know what day it is. So I go in at 2300 hours on Thursday, right? But they consider that to be Friday because 7 of my 8 hours is on Friday. So it's the first shift of Friday, so first watch. So then you got 2 sergeants per shift, and then over them is another sergeant who's like just kind of overall sergeant, and then there's the captain, and that is our command structure. Sorry to hear you were in jail. It's never any fun in the pokey. Let's see, that is the chamber of Prince Orfeo's sister, Princess Hala. Hala, 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 hala. I think this heifer tells us where to start looking. Who art thou? A friend of my brother's? Yes. Then I'll give thee some advice. My brother has gone searching for the Spring of Bravery, but he travels slowly, so let's see. Let's make a note. Prince Orfeo is looking for Spring of Bravery, which, as we learned earlier, is to the east. Yeah, I'm a civilian. We're not sworn in as dispatchers or anything. But when I talk to people, I do tell them I work for the sheriff's department because I think that sounds kind of neat. But yeah, I'm not. Just as an unwashed, useless lump civilian, I'm not very familiar with how command structures go. Okay. Now, hear me out. Just thinking about this. This is the sister of the prince, which means she's also my cousin, which means she's also a descendant of Erdrick. Why ain't this heifer coming along? Or shit. Okay, so far to the east. I still don't know how to work doors. I think I need to have a key, but there's no door option anymore. So now I'm confused. So have I seen everything there is to see here? I believe I have. East is this way. Now, something I find interesting about dispatch, ghost mouse. I work with the guy that wants to go into law enforcement, and I don't know, I could see doing a little bit of dispatching is and understanding what goes on in dispatch is being beneficial to being out on the road. But I don't know, just like sitting in a chair and chatting on the phone is a little different than jumping out of a squad car and tackling some guy with hepatitis needles on his person. You know, I just don't see the crossover. Although during our training process we get to ride along with deputies and police officers, we get to do ride-alongs. Well, we have to do 3 ride-alongs, and I mean it was fun. Like I thought all the deputies I rode with were awesome. And I did learn a little bit about, you know, what they need to know about as a dispatcher. And, but I mean, beyond just sitting in dispatch for a couple of days, I really don't think you're gonna learn too much. But my last day there, one of my last calls at the end of my surprise double, was a guy calling in asking about turning in an application. He's going to, you know, trying to be a deputy with us. And I was just, you know, shooting the breeze with him for a minute. And it's like, oh yeah, what are you applying for? Because I was hoping they get some new people in the dispatch center because, like, we're just getting clobbered because of various factors. And that's why I'm getting just annihilated with overtime. And it's like, oh, I'm going to be a deputy, but I worked at the dispatch center about a year ago. It's like, oh, cool. I was like, I think you have made the correct career choice, my man. Like, I'm old and crappy. I'm like 37 years old and dumpy. So, you know, that ship has passed for me being a deputy, which I had no strong interest in law enforcement. I literally just saw a billboard. It's like, oh, I needed a job, and I was going over to my mom's house to do something, and I saw a billboard, and it's like, I wonder what the sheriff's hiring for. Let me look at their website. And here we are. But most of the ladies that work there at dispatch are dating or married to officers, or they're people. One gal used to be an officer for a couple years, and I like her. She's pretty cool. But most of the people there have like a real they have a real strong interest in law enforcement. And then, like, during our orientation class, they're like, well, how were you interested? What'd you learn about? I was like, I don't know, some dipshit that saw a billboard. It's like, oh, man, you pay $20 an hour to sit and play Tetris in between phone calls? You got it, dude. I believe that any job that comes with a chair and air conditioning is an easy job. Uh-oh. Better do some healing, huh? And, you know, I work overnights, so depending on how cold it is, because the heat brings the wild out of people, 100%. Level power increases by 1. So overnight, you know, none of the command staff are really there, and then the, like, night sergeants are very cool. Actually, all the sergeants are cool. It's just, you know, I don't know what the captain's opinion is on me sitting there playing Doom in between calls. So I tend not to screw around too much when I'm there in the morning. But overnight, after about 2 in the morning on like a Sunday, I mean, you're just sitting around and occasionally your phone rings. And so I bought this gaming laptop actually to sit around and play Doom on the clock, and like I edit my shitty YouTube videos. And then in the mornings, it's not that bad. Unfortunately, the girl that I'm trading shifts with, she's on third watch, which is 1,500 hours to 2,300 hours. And I hate 19 to 23 is the worst time of day. That's when everyone's like off of work and they're drunk and beating up their spouses. So it's just back to back to back phone calls, and it's miserable. Like on my normal shift, I come in like on the weekend, Friday, Saturdays, 11 to about 1 or 2 a.m. It's busy but tapers off, and then by 3, which is my lunchtime, and man, that's my time. And then, you know, Sunday night, Monday night, I just like sit around and goof off, and it's pretty cool. But this is the first week I'm trying to run that scam where I've traded. Really, COVID hasn't been that big of an impact. I'm in Ohio. Spring of Bravery, no. All who seek victory must first visit the Spring of Air. Okay. I mean, I've only been there since February, which is right when everyone, if anything, like, you know, following the news and stuff, they've been letting criminals out of jails, and guess what? They don't just not do crimes anymore. So, I mean, nationwide, from what I've read and observed, it's been pretty bad because they're just letting people out to keep the jails free because you wouldn't want, you know, some violent rapist to get a cough. That'd be a real shame. And, or whatever, you know? So I don't really know. So I started there right when COVID became a thing, really. We're supposed to ask, like, do you or anyone in the house have new cough, new fever, any exposure to COVID-19? I don't know why. Occasionally, like when I work days, that's when people will call in and be like, there's a guy inside the grocery store not wearing a mask. It's like, oh no. Alright, man, let me get like 10 squad cars on it. We'll get the hounds. So I'll have the fire department come hook up the hoses so we can blast them on the way out. I was never really blown away by the COVID thing. If I'm in uniform, I wear the mask, obviously, because I represent an elected official. But I've never really noticed that big of a difference since the COVID-19 stuff started. But I never really, like, go out and do stuff anyway, you know? It's like, okay, I have to... I mean, there was the great toilet paper scare in, like, February, March, or whatever. Let's see what we get. Nice, a medicinal herb, exactly what I needed. Alright, what's this dude got? But yeah, I never noticed a big difference. I actually missed the early days of the COVID lockdown when people actually were staying inside because traffic was great. I was very lucky to get this job that, you know, is pretty emergency proof. It's probably one of the most secure jobs you can have. So I was thankful to have that. And then the county, like all county employees, received 2 weeks of COVID pay. And for whatever reason, the command staff was like, all right, you new employees, you have to use this 2 weeks right now. Don't save it for if you actually need it later. Just use it now. So like a month into my new career, I got my Trump Bucks check. That was awesome. And then I got a paid 2-week vacation. So that was also awesome. So I got like $2,500 cash money to sit around and do nothing for 2 weeks. So that was pretty dope. So I mean, COVID thing worked out for me pretty great. I always keep hand sanitizer in my truck because I'm an avid garage sailor. So I had a pretty fair stock of hand sanitizer, and it got pretty touch and go with the toilet paper for a while. But no, I haven't really noticed anything about the COVID. But maybe if I'd started there a year earlier, I would be able to compare and contrast. I do notice we started, in my experience, I started like maybe 3 months ago putting in more breathing trouble calls, like on the medic side of call entry. Started getting a lot of breathing trouble. Yeah, that's actually got robbed, dude. So my big goal of working at the county, and I get paid a lot of money, especially working, 20 hours of overtime a week. I'm gonna pay off my truck, which I've saved about 75% of what I owe on it, and then I'm just gonna pay it all off at once, just to have that satisfying feeling here in a few months. But then after that, I'm saving up for a down payment on a house. Like, I live in a pretty decent little suburb. And saving up for a down payment. I want to move out to the country because, like, even though I live in one of the nicer suburbs, it's like a 15-minute walk from a downtown that could just as easily be the next riot on the news, Let's see, art thou seeking the Prince of Canuck? Why, yes, I am. Only moments ago he was here. I think he is going to Middenhall Castle. Alright, you jerk. Alright. I got the boots, the sheriff. Here he is, 511. Yeah, we go to the same uniform store, and we have to wear boots. There's like all sorts we can choose from, but the ones I have are actually very comfy. I don't know what type of boot it is. I actually didn't look at it. I was, trying them out and talking to the uniform lady. Nice. Another medicinal herb. And then, the last time I did a ride-along, we went on foot patrol. That was fun. We went through one of the... I went through 2 areas that were pretty gnarly. I don't necessarily want to say exactly where I'm at, but it's one of those neighborhoods with the name that everyone's heard. And, it's the kind of neighborhood where... a mother and father might be cousins with each other. Kind of like an inbred redneck hell. That was kind of neat. And then I learned about a neighborhood that I'd been near a million times, but I didn't know it existed. There's this one road in and one road out. And I discovered a lot more people in this county live in shacks, like honest to God shacks, than I was really aware of. So it'll be like, you know, some tarps and pallets, you know, nailed together in someone's backyard. They're like, oh yeah, some methods live in there. I was like, oh, that's horrifying. Yeah, mine have the, it's got the side zipper and then also Velcro that goes over the top of the zipper. I have a standing desk, and I usually spend about... I'll go in my first 4 hours, I'll stand up, and then at 3 a.m. at lunchtime I'll sit down, and then I'll stay parked till about the last hour of the night, and then I'll start, you know, pacing around and go back to standing again. And the boots are pretty comfortable, honestly. Like, I don't really have a problem wearing them. Yeah, so I'll spend quite a bit of my evening on my feet, just sort of pacing around. As far as my little headset cord will allow. Oop. I should not have done that. Oh. No. No. Shit. Huh. No pulse, no breath, cold as a cod. Yes, thou art truly dead, Gerpo. I suppose I had better revive thee, though thou deserve less. Wow. Alright, I'll go save the world for you now, King Butthole. What a turd. It's almost out of the cave. It's gonna use my Chimera wing to get out of there. So I got HP and P. How much gold do I have? Alright, I'll buy a couple. So I was gonna get out of the cave and then use the Chimera wing to get back to the first castle. I've beat the PS1 remake of Final Fantasy 1. I played the Final Fantasy game, a couple Final Fantasies before I ever played Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 9 was my first real exposure to the series. I bought it on day one. And, that was the first one I played through and beat. Now, I'd played a demo of Dragon Quest 8. And, really liked it, but I never got it back in the day. Just, you know, too many games, not enough dollars. It was before I, you know, really discovered garage sailing and getting stuff cheap. I do want to play Final Fantasy 1 on the Nintendo. Like, I have it. There's a remake of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 on the Super Famicom. they've never come to America. The Game Boy Color versions of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are based on the Super Famicom remakes. They have all the quality of life enhancements from the Super Nintendo versions, but have Game Boy Color graphics, so it's like a slight graphical upgrade from the NES originals, but with the quality of life improvements from the Super Famicom versions. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that guy in the cave told me Prince Canik was going south to Castle Midenhall. Shit, I should have wrote down exactly what he said. Oops. Let's see, Crystallis on Game Boy Color I had back in the day, and I played it and really liked it. I have Crystallis on the NES, but I haven't played it. And then, like, the translation of the Game Boy Color version's more accurate to the Japanese original, so, like, all the names are different. So, I forget. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So what's this guy got? Oh, is that the Prince of Canik right there? Rideau, my cousin from Midenhall? Ah, yes. It is as I guessed. I have been seeking thee, so that together we may oppose Hargan. Come, let us go forth. In the Game Boy Color version, you get to name your siblings, and I think there's a code or some way you can change the names of the prince and princess in this. Probably should have spent the night before talking to this jerk. The rate's going up. Alright. Let's see. Welcome to Left Wing. Bow wow. Now, one of these dogs is our cousin, the princess. I remember that. Let's see, northward lies the castle of Canik, my friend. Well, I know, I just came from there. Hey! Chainsicle. Leather shield. I feel like I need my manuals and guidebooks to tell me which gear I need. Let's go into battle with our dude. Now, is this something I can play on an EverDrive, or is it just something on the computer? I guess I could Google it, but I'd have to lean up. Yeah, we can Google that. They're called Dragoon Omega. Ooh. Alright. I'm gonna do a little bit of level grinding, get Prince Doofy here up to speed. Yeah, I'll check it out. I opened it up in a browser tab, so as soon as I'm done goofing around here, I'll read about it. Every now and then, like every few months, I just get really excited about Dragon Quest. I'm not sure what it is about the series that has grabbed a hold of me, but you know, starting with Dragon Quest IX, I got real into it, and then I started buying up the older entries into the series. And then, let's see, what did we do? Last week, I just completed my boxed collection of Dragon Warrior 1 through 4. I had a method of taking my spare change, then occasionally I'd throw in a $1 bill or a $5 bill into a big glass peanut butter jar. And whenever I got enough money to buy the next complete copy, I would make that purchase. And I just managed to get the 4th one complete. And then eventually, I'm going to get a bunch of poster frames and frame all the maps and doodads as I finish the games and don't need them. Because I want to play the games with all the original resources that they came with. Because they came with, like, guidebooks and stuff that tells you, like, you know, what spells you learn at what level and, you know, stuff like that. And maps that are very helpful, and you know, so just my living situation, we had to move my wife's mother in because she has dementia, so she's in the master bedroom, and my awesome game room became me and my wife's bedroom. So all my toys are downstairs, and I did not plan ahead and set all my maps and manuals and stuff aside for Dragon Warrior 2 for tonight. This is like my big goal, was to spend at least one of my nights off, spend the whole night streaming, because 2 weeks ago I started streaming Dragon Warrior 1. I had started it a long time ago, got about halfway through the game, moved on for a couple years, and then, I don't know, I just got to bug up my ass. It's like, I'm going to finish Dragon Warrior. And then, I was just all pumped up about Dragon Warrior again. And it's like, I'm going to stream them in order. That'll give me something to do on my nights off. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of want the clout of beating Dragon Warrior 2 on the NES, because people say it's hard because of how broken it is towards the end game. I kind of want to experience that for myself. I wonder if people are just being crybabies. A lot of times I find people are being crybabies. That's weird. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta get up. I think my house is falling apart. Just one more fucking thing. Yeah, my fucking house is falling apart, dude. The fan above the stove is on. My woman made some burgers last night. And the fan just died on me. So I already calling in an electrician. I guess I could probably try to fix the fan. That one's probably not that hard of a project. But out in the garage, I had living the, suburban dream, man. I got the secondary garage out in the secondary refrigerator out in the garage, and it's like full of meats and shit. And I plugged something into another outlet in the garage, and it shorted out that outlet. So I was like, fuck it, let's call an electrician. Because I don't want to electrocute myself trying to fix something. Oh no, there's like other issues going on with the electric. And then normally, the wife will contact her sister's ex-husband, who is like a contractor, but also an idiot. And I mean, he'll do like acceptable work for a low price, but you also get what you pay for, and he's an idiot, and he just like is careless and breaks shit, and just, I don't know, that guy sucks. So I was like, fuck it, like, I have money now, let's just pay for a real person. Let's see, what spells do we know? Huh. See, I guess after I level up my guys a little bit, my next move's going to be to Castle Moonbrook. I didn't get any clues here in Leftwind. Nice. That is absolutely heinous. Just like something I've learned since being a 911 dispatcher is that once you start smoking meth, there's an amount of meth you can smoke that unleashes hallucinations. Because there's this one guy that calls in, like, I'll hear from him, like, every night for, like, a week, and then he'll disappear for a while, and then every night for a week. And he'll just, like, call in. He used to call, now he does text to 911, which I believe they need to get rid of text to 911, because no one's actually used it for a legitimate purpose. Yeah, no shit. Meth unlocks the hallucination skill set once you've smoked enough of it. So he'll call in, and he'll be like physically running and like out of breath. I'm like, man, there's a biker gang trying to get me. I was like, well, what do they look like? How many? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? What kind of motorcycle? Is like a Japanese motorcycle, a Harley? What do they look like? Where are they going? Which direction on the street? Doing my thing. And he won't give you any details. Just get him out of here, man. There's like 20 of them. No. And it's like, okay, guy, I know that's not true, but we have to put in a call, and because, just because he's crazy, especially living in that city, doesn't mean he's not actually being chased by a motorcycle gang. Because who knows, man, maybe one of the meth dealing gangs is mad at him. Maybe it's real this time. So far it's just been hallucinations, but he'll never sit still long enough for the police to come assist him. And so now he started texting 911, and he'll just say like, the business at such and such street, there's guys, stuff like that. And it's like, all right, let me put, and he won't answer any follow-up questions, and it's very annoying. And like jurisdictional nonsense, one of the next cities over, I don't dispatch for, and it's kind of like within his walking and bicycle distance. So, I'll see, it's called phase 2. You can see generally where a cell phone is at. Sometimes, you can tell where they're at within a house or two. Or sometimes it'll just be like, you can tell they're in your county. So one time I got a call and it's like, oh, he's just over in the next jurisdiction. I'm like, hey, so-and-so city, we got, guy's name. He's seeing this and that on the bike path. I was like, yeah, we've been out with them like 4 times tonight. It's like, oh, well, guess the batch of meth he was smoking tonight was good. And there's a few people like that where they just have these meth hallucinations and decide to call and text 911 constantly. Well, some of it might be, I really don't know the mechanics of policing probably as well as I should. People call in and report drug houses all the time. They'll be like, yeah, there's a bunch of underage girls here. They're geeked out on meth. They're prostituting. So, like my big city that I dispatch for, okay, so my big city that I dispatch for, if there's other crimes going on, ongoing drug activity, it might be an hour before the police get there. Or, let's say they get dispatched to go check out the active drug deal. And then, oops, someone got shot at this apartment complex. So now you need, at least 4 officers to respond to that apartment complex because they're out there drinking and shooting every night and aren't the biggest fan of the police. So you need to have at least 4 cars to respond to any call in that apartment complex. Shh. Dog's barking. Hi, Mom. Let me move some crap out of your way. Joseph, retard. Go away, dog. Go away. Very delicately move my crap. Alright. Try to dodge all the wires. Don't touch anything.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have
your mail over there, or?
Yeah, just wherever. I got a live microphone, just so you know. My sleep schedule's still all jacked up. So I woke up at like 6 and was like, oh, I'm gonna go play Nintendo. So, anyways, I was saying, by the time the cops get there, they might not see anything going on. And at that point, there's nothing they can do. And then I don't know what kind of process they have to do to get a judge to like issue a warrant to go do a raid. Um, I mean, yeah, everyone's aware. Everyone in the neighborhood, I'm aware. Like everyone everywhere knows exactly what's going on there, but I don't know the process of what it takes to, you know, get anything actually done about it if they don't see a crime happening. So, it's very unfortunate. My last night there, someone was having what I believe to be drug-induced paranoid issues. They kept calling and didn't say anything for hours. They would just call in, not say anything. Hello, 911, location of your emergency. Can anyone hear me? No response, I have to hang up. And I did that for hours. And then eventually they're like, hello, I need a ride. It's like, well, unfortunately, we don't offer a taxi service. And then they called in and got one of my co-workers and requested an ambulance. And then eventually we found them, and they were just living in a garage in an alley and having paranoid hallucinations because of drug use. Which, like I said, I did not know meth can unlock the hallucinations. A lot of my calls are from paranoid schizophrenics. Those are fun. I like those calls, honestly. That's one of the few things I've gotten complimented on the job is how calm and patient I am with the mental people. Like I said, at night it's slow, so I don't mind talking to them. As long as my phone's not ringing. Don't step on that black box.
I'm concentrating.
Mind your feet. Don't touch that big gray box. Don't nudge it. I know, it's not an ideal setup. An ideal setup would be down in my cool game room, where I have an ideal setup, but everyone's sleeping. Nanners has only come out and visited me once.
Good for you.
One of my streams from last week, did I show you the video where I edited down every time she popped up? She'll poke her nose out here, see me, and turn around. And then I told you about it. She was coming out here and she took some ibuprofens, and 20 minutes later she comes out and starts. It's like, Rosa, you just took God knows how many of what kind of pills. Just go to bed. My head hurts. Yeah, I know, but you already took something. Takes an hour for a pill to take an effect, and you've been out here 20 minutes ago. Nicole will be pissed if I let you overdose and die.
On ibuprofen.
So how about you just turn it around and go to bed? My head hurts. I understand, but I don't want to have to call an ambulance because you've accidentally overdosed on fucking Flintstones chewables or whatever we got in there that you keep getting into. And then I'm just sitting here thinking oh God, what goes on the nights that I'm not sitting here on the couch? How often does she, how often does she come out here and just take God knows what? So, I think we need to get the, child-proof. I need to go out of my way to put the child-proof what's-its on all the cabinets just to keep her out of them. Macy's going to be able to work the child lock cabinets before Nanners will.
Are you on my microphone?
Mm-hmm. You're see something spicy on your tablet?
No, I was gonna make a comment. I'll do it later.
Let's see if I can go buy a cool item. I've been dying to play this game on stream for like 2 weeks. It's supposed to be last night, right? But
Yeah.
man, that last double just annihilated me.
Yeah.
Let's see, I guess I can afford a leather shield. Let's see what we got here. Need to go to equip done. Talk to these guys. Get this done. Look for the monolith by the inland sea west of this place. You got it, dude. Okay. Ooh. Okay, there's the clue that I needed. Alright, let's see. I was an Air Force Combat Systems Officer, which is pretty much air traffic control, but before that I was in the Navy Marine Hospital Doctor. Dealt with a lot of crazy people as a Navy. Yeah, I live in a pretty big Air Force town. Sure, that's not relevant to them. I wasn't prepared for the amount of 911 calls that were just mental illness. So west is this way. I definitely have a lot more respect for the road officers that have to go out and deal with these schizophrenics. wish I had my paper map. Joseph. So is this the monolith they were talking about? Oh, wow. Well, that sounds pretty gnarly, dude. That sounds like the kind of thing that needs to be documented. Cure poison. Is that in the church? Just give me a little dude.
No, I don't want to be on that.
You won't be.
You little dude.
Picture.
What?
Picture.
No. Have you been peeing all night, little dude? Let's get you out of your sleep sack. Let's get you out of the sleep sack, mister. You got a pretty goofy looking smile with that big tooth, buddy. Peace, love, and naps. Get your arm out of here. Get your arm out of here, my guy. Hey. Hey. What do you hear? Okay. So I don't think that was the place I needed to be at. You helping? I guess you can help. Yeah, I'll check your channel out. Hey. 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 Yeah. Right now? Yeah. Did you just forget to bring it? Do what? Really? Two-factor authentication.
If I walk through here, am I going to get anything?
No. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Quit grabbing at stuff. Here, grab at this stuff. What's that? Ooh, that lights up. Oh boy.
We're doing jumping jacks last night.
Why do you say that?
Wow.
No? I don't know when you heard that. Was I still downstairs with you when you heard loud noises? Because I've been sitting here playing Nintendo. And I've only been up here since 6. What time do you get up? Oh, I thought I got past them. This guy's a light sleeper. Hi. Did you see the scary cobras? Those are spooky. Uh-oh, I should have been looking. Where do you think you're going, mister? You happy to see Granny?
Hi, baby.
Are you out of your little sweet set?
Oh. Oh.
Sit up there.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, he does. Everyone loves Granny.
What, London? What? Are you playing? Wow. Wow, are you making it work? Did you suddenly wake up and start talking? Was you a good boy? You were. You were.
What you got in there? Mm. Oh shoot, I know it. Oh, hey. Keeps trying to dive forward.
Keeps losing the set your thumbs. Yeah, you almost dropped it, didn't you? Who you gonna call?
I think he's more interested in eating it.
Yep.
interested in this, aren't you? Got big red buttons. Trying to hold you more securely, but then you start grabbing stuff. Quit being a little grabber. What are you trying to tell me, bud? Stop it. Oh, trying to dive in the floor. Trying to dive in the floor. There you go. That back. I'm gonna be yawning. I think I'm lost. No, there's where I was looking for it. I was just trying to find one of the castles. I think I'm a little lost. Alright. I'm gonna save and shut this down for a little while. Now that downstairs is available, I might move this party downstairs. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Hey, did you find all my cards? Little turkey. Hey, let me put the stuff away. You little hobgoblin. Chill. Stop it. Quit grabbing. Okay, we'll do that later. You little hobgoblin. You little hobgoblin. Alright, I'm gonna shut down for a little bit. I might fire this up downstairs here in a minute. But thanks for hanging out, Dr. Arkville. Anyone else that may be watching.